This is the Milo Sweet Podcast, where you'll learn to get unstuck. Start now. Conquer life's challenges by learning to do difficult. Find quick and clever ways to overcome. Wait, did you think life was going to be easy? Remember, all of your excuses are now dead to me. Let's get started. Guess what time it is? It's time for you to hit the subscribe button and find just 1% that you think will benefit from this. But if you're feeling a little generous, right? Or you're super free with your time right now, probably doing nothing because you're listening to this. Well, maybe if you're doing something, actually just make yourself free right now. Hit subscribe. What are you waiting for? Hit it. Come on. Hit subscribe. Welcome to the Milo Sweet Podcast, Laura. Thanks so much for joining me. Can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Laura Weiner. I am here living in Portland, Oregon. I have a 20-year career as a zookeeper. Love to be outside, outdoors, seeing animals and flowers and all sorts of stuff. Feeling a little weird right now. So I don't really know what to say about me right now since the entire world is on a pause. Yeah.
Wait, so let's just, how have you been spending your Coronacation? That I'm calling it that because it's a weird thing. I'm like, I want to be positive about this, but there's a lot of crazy things happening, but I have to be positive about this or I'm going to start freaking out. So I'm calling it Coronacation. What's the weirdest thing you've done on your Coronacation?
First of all, that's an amazing term, Coronacation. I love that. The weirdest thing I've done, well, for me, I'm usually a gym person, so I tend to spend a good at least 5 days a week at the gym. And since the gym is closed, I haven't been able to do that. So I've been doing daily walks, which might sound not weird at all, but the best thing about living in Portland is that when you walk around, there is always something weird here. Always. So I've been documenting a lot of weird things that I see on my 2-mile walk every day. One of them is a mannequin that's in someone's house or sometimes out on his porch, dressed in all sorts of different outfits. So that's my personal, I mean, I'm not weird, but I'm seeing the weird and I'm kind of loving it.
I have to be honest, so I'm probably used to that kind of weird, which I don't know what that says about me right now. The weirdest thing I did on my Coronacation is watch Tiger King. Did you see that show?
I did see that. I mean, how could you not? It's
I never fall down those kind of rabbit holes, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I felt two kind of ways because my kids love cats. And I'm like, oh my gosh, am I raising Joe Exotic or Carol? So me and my husband had to do some fact checking. We're like, okay, wait a minute. At this point in life, Carol's here. Are our kids on the trajectory to be Carol or Joe? Or do they just really like animals? And that's when I thought I need to get Laura on the show to make me feel like, wait a minute, there is some hope for your parenting, girl. I know you. And me and I'm gonna go really crazy, and then I want you to respond.
Absolutely.
So I was FaceTiming one of my daughter's coaches, and she said she watched 1 or 2 episodes of Tiger King, but she felt so disgusting that she just couldn't. So I was like, I totally get it. And then Zoe, my daughter, said, you mean Joe Exotic? And I was like, wait a minute. I'm sorry. How do you know Joe Exotic? She said, I read Big Cat Rescue magazines. He tried to kill Carol. I'm like, it's in the magazine. I kind of freaked out a little bit because I'm like, how much do you know? She was like, well, I know he's in jail because they put it in the magazine. And I'm like, can you show me the article? It is full on very, to me, adult information. So I thought she saw Tiger King, very, very much relieved that she didn't. But I don't know if this is better And what does that say about my parenting? And she's like, yeah, I'm not sure if Joe tried to do it, but he's really upset at Carol. He really doesn't like her. And I'm thinking, why is this in a magazine about saving cats? Why?
Well, okay. Here, first of all, let me say there is a third trajectory for your children. Okay, there are not just two, either Carol or Joe options. There is a third, and the third is the one that your children are on, and the one you're actually teaching them right now, which is to love and respect them, to learn as much as possible about the conservation challenges that they're facing in the wild, and to help educate other people about it. That's what your children are doing. So please don't put them in either one of those buckets.
Okay.
They're not
oh my gosh.
I have met your children many times, and I can safely say they are neither, Carol nor Joe. I do find it interesting that Zoe read that in the magazine.
I know.
So, and my general thought about this whole thing is what is missing from the entire documentary, where you're seeing very interesting characters with questionable morals. It's the animals. That's what's missing. It's talking about the actual welfare of the animals in the care of everyone featured in the documentary. And that's the real sad thing here, that they kind of gloss over a bit, because the people are so incredibly entertaining that you miss out on actually learning about real information about tigers. So, I wish they had spent a little more time on that in the documentary. It's really glossed over because you're looking at a guy with no teeth with no shirt on for half of the documentary. But they're entertaining, and Americans love entertaining. So here we are. Yeah.
Well, what do you think people can do? So I know a huge amount of people that have seen the Tiger King documentary. What do you think they can do if they really wanted to educate themselves about animals right now? Yeah. Like what's really happening, and give their full attention to that, because they're seriously at home doing a lot of nothing.
Absolutely. That's a really great question. So, one of the best things people can do is to reach out to, there are so many resources all over the internet right now, which is, where we're mainly getting all of this information from. So every single zoo that has tigers, they all have a page on their website that talks about the tigers in their care and the kind of care the animals get. There are tons of organizations, nonprofit, non-government organizations like Trees for Tigers, or even like National Geographic. Like, there are places that have so much great information about all sorts of endangered species, and you can learn true facts about them and actual information, and what's going on with the 6 different species of tigers out there, and what are their population numbers, what are the challenges they're facing in the wild with habitat loss and poaching, and there's so much good information out there. And that's hopefully what I hope people do, is that they do become more curious about tigers and about their endangered status, and why we're at the place we're at, why there are more tigers in private situations than there are in the wild, and they want to know more about it. And hopefully they'll search out those resources, because that's the really, having a tiger in your backyard is disappointing and cruel. Like, having them either in the wild or in a place where they are cared for properly, that's where they should be.
I love that. I think I'm just going to put the mandate out there that if you are listening to this and you watch Tiger King, you have one responsibility, is to educate yourself on what's going on, to even the scoreboard. And then I would say the second thing I'm going to put back on Laura and ask her, what do you think is one thing you could, that's a daily habit that people can start to be aware of that is super helpful for either tigers, big cats, or just animals in general?
My biggest thing with animals in general is that just remember that we share this planet with them. We do, just because, we have big brains and opposable thumbs and, that stuff. Yeah, sure, we can invent all sorts of amazing things and do all these things that unfortunately really change the environment. And so just remember those things, that you're sharing this planet with thousands of millions, honestly, of other species of animals and plants and fungus and viruses, which are, very appropriate right now.
Right.
So and what, things like where we are now is possibly because we've been messing with the environment too much, and because we've been, interrupting where these animals live and reducing the space that they live in, and then, having too much contact with them, and then these things jump from animal to human, which is called a zoonotic disease. But anyways, right, what you can do, remember that in your daily life. Remember that, yes, although when you see a tiger on a TV show and you think, oh my goodness, it would be so cool. If you have a house cat, it is literally a mini tiger. Literally a mini tiger. They are the exact same thing, just a lot smaller. So, we had the opportunity to have cats and dogs in our homes. So they're amazing and they're wonderful companions. And so, I could just go off and on about this, but like things like tigers, that's all part of the exotic pet trade. That does horrible things to wild populations. And, you're taking animals out of the wild that could be out there breeding and making more of, these endangered species that we're missing so much. So, be satisfied with your cats or dogs or birds or fish you have at home, and donate money, learn, educate yourself. There's so many little things you can do every day to make a difference.
I love that. I think it's, I'm going to be honest, before I had my kids, I didn't really care as much. It just seemed so far from your daily life. But allowing like your kids' curiosity to hold you accountable was seriously the way that I started to see like, whoa, this is really affecting me more than I realized. I just have the ability to just pull the shades down and act like I don't see it. And I think my kids wouldn't let me, which at first I didn't like, because I'm like, dude, I don't want to do the extra work of cleaning out the things that I have to recycle, or buying in bulk versus not buying in bulk. Like, I want those individual packages instead of scooping stuff out or getting your little sticky fingers and things. But over time, it does become a daily habit where you start to think like, wait, I don't know if I want to buy this at New Seasons. I would rather buy that at Costco, or I would rather buy, you start to think of how it's packaged. Who am I supporting? What are they doing? Or sometimes I'm more, prone to buy something at New Seasons because I know it's local, or I can get it free without having it in a plastic bag or something like that. And those are things I never, ever, ever thought about before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you were a big part of that. I know you know that. So I want to go.
All right, that's another episode in the books. Hello? I said it's over. Why are you still listening? Like, seriously, the episode is over. If you're still listening right now, you know what? You're probably a chronic procrastinator. Guess what? I'm still listening too. Come on, for real, seriously. We gotta go do something productive. No, like, for real. No, for real. Okay, you can keep listening.